Welcome to Average Joe's Gym's Home Projects, where we do projects and maintenance at home that even an average Joe can accomplish. One thing that's always bothered my wife and I about our pantry and our kitchen is it's just this cabinet, and it's not very big and doesn't hold much. For a family of 5, it's just not cutting it anymore. So the good news is we have a coat closet right off the kitchen next to the laundry room, right there. In today's episode, we're going to convert that coat closet to some extra pantry space. Let's do it. Alright, first and foremost, while we empty out this coat closet, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to my coworker Jeremy for the updated logo for my title screen. Great job, buddy. It's remarkable how much stuff fits in a coat closet. When you stack it up from the back and then hang the coats over it, it's easy to forget how much stuff you actually have in there. But we were able to relocate most of it, but some of it will make its way back in there when we're done. Once you get it all out of there, give it a vacuum and a good cleaning. My wife took an opportunity to clean up all the baseboards inside and do a little touch-up paint on the back as well. So the shelving kit that we decided to use in the closet is the Blue Hawk Melamine multi-purpose shelves and mounting brackets. The size of the shelf we chose is 36 inches by 15 3/4 inches. They ended up fitting just right in the closet, so I didn't have to make any cuts on the wood itself. However, I did have to make a cut on the header bracket, which was just a little bit too wide for the back of the closet. It's the piece that the vertical mounting brackets hang on. If you remember the mirrored closet door install episode on the channel, I ran into a similar issue here that I had in that video. I just couldn't get the Sawzall to get the cut going. It's just too hard on the edge, and you have to use something to sort of score it to get the blade of the Sawzall in there. I used a hacksaw. Just a few quick swipes, and you should have a good enough groove to get things going. For the install itself, you don't need a whole lot of stuff. You need a power drill with some screws, a stud finder, a tape measure, and what you don't see here is I ended up using some wall anchors with screws for the areas that were in the void spaces. I'm trying to find the studs here so that I can mount the header mounting bracket to those. I had to make sure I gave the stud finder a little bit of space, because if I got too close, then it would start to go off on its own. Once I got the bracket inside, I realized really quick that the pre-drilled holes that come with it don't exactly line up with your studs in your closet. I still sunk a couple into the drywall just to hold it up there, so I wouldn't have to hold it the whole time. I got quite a bit of help from my kids on this project, with holding flashlights and giving me a little bit of light, as well as moving the camera around and helping Dad out with the projects. Even if you have little kids, it can't hurt to start them out early, at least seeing you do the home projects. It's always good to have an apprentice, and in my case, I have 3. Alright, now it's time to hang the vertical pieces. They have little hooks on the tips of them, so you can just sort of hang them there, and then move them around to try to get them centered properly. Alright, it's time to get out that handy tape measure and try to get those vertical pieces as evenly spaced as possible. This will end up evenly dispersing the weight on your shelves so that you don't have one side leaning. Once I got the spacing right, I marked each hole so that I could put drywall anchors in the wall. It turned out none of my vertical pieces ended up lining up with any of the studs in the wall. It's okay though, because the majority of the weight on the shelves is going to be on the header at the top of the vertical mounting brackets. I'm a huge fan of these drill-in drywall anchors. As usual, links are in the description. Once the anchors are in, I just line up the vertical pieces and put the screws in to finish the mounting job. This little magnetic level came in pretty handy. I'd stick it on there just to make sure that my vertical pieces were straight up and down. This way, when I install the shelves, they'll be nice and flat. Here's a little bit of up-close motion sickness action so you can see the screws and how it was all mounted. The shelving supports just sort of fit right in the slots very simply, and you can move them up and down so you can determine how high you want each shelf to be. Here's my wife figuring it out, just trying to determine how far apart she wants the shelves. The real skill is the over-the-shoulder third-person view camera work that you see on display here. When customizing your shelf heights, make sure you bring a couple of items that are extra tall so you can determine whether or not your spacing is where you want it to be. In our case, some cereal containers, some pretzels, and of course paper towels. Before we go into the finish here, I want to mention these lights that we installed. They're motion activated. You charge them on a mini USB, and they mount with a simple magnet underneath the bottom of the shelves. They've worked out great. So here it is, our completed coat closet to pantry space conversion. If you enjoyed this project, please check out our other projects on Average Joe's Gym's home projects. And please like and subscribe for future projects.